Matty coming in with the 10 months at tier 2. Matty, thank you so much, buddy. I appreciate that. You've pulled me out of the pre-stream silence. Apologies for it being silent for so long as well, guys. I didn't realise that Streamlabs wasn't picking up my desktop audio. I had the music on, it just, you couldn't hear it. Matty, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate that, especially this month. It's been a shitty month. You know, that means the fucking world to me. I don't feel like I deserve that level of support at the minute, but thank you so much, man. I really appreciate that. How is everybody doing? What the fuck? Matty giving out like hyper somethings? Doing tile work, Matty? Like in the kitchen or what? Merch I ordered should arrive next week or the week after. Yeah, I ordered some samples as well, Ryan, like, which is essentially just me ordering my own merch, but I don't have to pay the excess, I just pay the production bit. I ordered a... Did I order two? Oh, I ordered a hoodie and a face mask. A lobby in a 12 story? Oh, nice. Well, there should be one hole in the mug, to be fair. Otherwise, it's not very useful. But yeah, man, let me know what it's like, how good it is and stuff. Clausen, welcome to the stream, man. Definitely let me know how good it is, Ryan. So obviously, I've never used Teespring before. I've never done merch before, so like, I don't even know if it's. I hope it's good. It fucking better be, but I don't know what quality it is, you know what I mean? I appreciate your support, Scott. Might actually take a rare selfie just to show off the merch. There you go, man. That'd be fucking awesome. Obviously you don't have to, but it would be awesome. Even if you don't take a selfie though, Ryan, like if you just put like the tank top on your bed or something, or just take a picture of the mug on a desk or whatever, so that we can see the merch. That'd be cool. Exclamation mark merch, guys. I have a merch store. I opened it this month. If you are interested, there's some stuff on there that uses the War Dog logo. Yeah, Clausen, we have merch now. Everybody's been asking for it for, I don't know, the better part of 2 months, so I figured one day, let's see how easy this Teespring thing is to do, and it was easier than I thought. Next thing I knew, I had merch. Gonna be tactical as fuck with your mug. Yeah. Can't do canteens, unfortunately, but that would be fucking cool. So, I'm just going to do a little bit of rundown. This is the first stream I've done in 9 days, which is appalling, to be perfectly honest. I don't want to dwell too much on, you know, saying it's been a rough week. It has been a rough week. That's why I've cancelled so many streams. But I'm hoping we're past that now. Look at twat drinking my tea out of a canteen in my bedroom. That's probably true. For those of you who've been maybe been out of the loop or don't know, Total War 3 Kingdoms' newest expansion comes out soon. I don't think they've given a release date yet. It's called The Furious Wild. There is a link to the trailer on my Discord, exclamation mark Discord, if you haven't already got a link to that. So that is coming out relatively soon. I haven't checked my email yet, but I should have an email from Creative Assembly with my link for a early access copy. I can't start showing the early access stuff until Friday, the 28th, but it is my plan to do that. Probably not on Friday. I still haven't worked out when. But it is my plan to show off the Furious Wild before release and potentially, you know, even after release. Do you have an estimated time of when the character vote will be chosen? Which character vote? So yeah, basically the way that we're at is I know for a fact, and this is public information. It's in the update that CA released for Furious Wild. They are changing elements of the map in Furious Wild, which I suspect and fully anticipate means that previous saves will be unplayable, right? If the map has physically changed in the DLC, I don't see any way that older campaigns are going to be playable. So yeah, they're doing things like moving Mount Song, and they've put in things like Hulao. I don't think Hulao itself, but things like passes now have settlements in them, so you actually have to take the pass. I know that there's an extension to the map because I've seen it on Total War stream today. There's an extension to the map in the southwest and the south with the new Nanman positions. So basically, there is going to be a big map change, which I think means that older save games are not going to be compatible. Which means this Zhuo campaign is going to end whenever Furious Wild comes out. And if I switch to a pre-release copy, I'm not going to be able to play this on that either. So the plan is, today, this is going to be our final episode of our Zhuo campaign. Rather than, you know, trying to cram in as many episodes of it as possible before Furious Wild, I'm just going to do this one. We're just going to say goodbye to it in a dignified manner, so that, you know, by the time it gets to Furious Wild, I'm not burned out on 3K, because we did, like, you know, 7 straight days of Zhuo campaign trying to finish it. My plan for Furious Wild is we'll do a little bit, you know, we'll do a short sort of reveal. Like, I'll play some of the new factions, some of the Nanman factions, pre-launch and post-launch, and then we will start our next campaign as the person who won the last vote, which was, I believe, Kong Rong is our next one lined up. And then, you know, we'll see where things go from there. It's on a special pre-purchase offer until the 3rd of September, and I vaguely recall there being a plan for the 4th. For Furious Wild, that would make sense, because we typically get access, well, I typically get access for about a week, 2 weeks. So that makes sense. Yes, it will be Kong Rong Roadshow. Clawson, for SRP, the character change, I don't know. Technically speaking, we are already past the amount of time for, like, because it was my air operator that was voted in, but I haven't rolled him once. I still am not sure what I'm going to be doing with regards to SRP. Yeah, man, Scott, like, I don't know if you've purchased a mask or not. Obviously, all of the merch is priced up so that I make a profit on it. But the masks are priced as low as I could price them without basically me paying Teespring to send you a mask. I make about $1 per mask. They're as cheap as I could possibly do them without it being pointless. Because you know, everybody needs a mask these days. I haven't yet received mine. I don't think it's a clinical mask. It says cloth mask. So I feel like, you know, it's supposed to go over the top of the clinical masks, I think, just to look better. But hey ho, these are times when everybody's got to wear a mask or a face covering, so I want you guys to be able to get those. And they do look pretty fucking cool too. That's awesome, Scott. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. Not gonna lie, I don't really care which SRP character you roll out. I just tune in to chat shit. That's fair, Ryan. So I'm guessing, obviously this is a longer intro than we would usually do for Three Kingdoms here, but I have been gone for 9 days, so I don't know when I'm gonna get back into SRP. I want to preface and clarify that nothing zero, zip all of my issues over the last 9 days have been to do with SRP. I'm just not sure presently. Like, I feel like I'm burned out on it, right? Like, people get burned out on games. I get burned out on other games as well. Three Kingdoms, XCOM. Like, it's not unusual. And I just feel like I'm burned out on SRP. So I'm probably going to be taking a little break from it. So, Clawson, to answer your question, I don't know when the character vote is going to change. Because when I go back to doing SRP, I'm probably going to do the air unit guy for a couple days, and then the vote will finish and we'll like do the next one. But I'm probably not going to be doing SRP for a little bit, just to sort of give myself a break from it. Steve, welcome to the stream. Yeah, man, exactly. Like, you know, like that's exactly where I'm at, and you know, the staff stuff, as much as there's not really any big headaches or anything like that, but the staff stuff doesn't stop. Like, almost every day I at least have to answer DMs and questions and help people out, and I don't mind doing it, but it just kind of means that when I'm burned out on actual in-server SRP stuff, and then I still have SRP stuff to deal with off of server time, it's very difficult for me to get beyond, like, get over the burnout, because it essentially never goes away. I'm debating taking, like, a staff break as well. Buford's already told me if I want to do that, just let him know. So I'm debating taking a staff break from SRP to help me get back into it. But the other thing, and I want to bring this up before we start the stream proper here, the other thing is Crusader Kings 3 comes out on Tuesday, on the 1st of September. I am so fucking excited for that game. Like, I've loved Crusader Kings 2 for a long time. It's a fantastic game, but it, you know, like, Crusader Kings 3 just looks like such an improvement. And I love the fact that the characters, you know, you can see them physically age, that they have got genetics so that the kids look like they are combinations of their parents' appearances and stuff like that. So, and the new changes to the contracts and everything. I'm so excited for Crusader Kings 3, and I do want to do some of it on the channel as well. So not doing SRP streams for a week or so, it'll probably be helpful because it gives me more time to stream other things. So I'll see where that goes. I know I've seen Spiffing Brit's video, but I'm not going to play it that way anyway, so it doesn't bother me. It's really easy to burn out, especially once responsibility is laden on top. Exactly, Ryan. Exactly. Scott, I appreciate the offer, man, but I'm just, like I said, I'm just burned out on SRP at the minute. It's not like I don't hate the server, but like even the thought of just going on just to ride with somebody else is like, yeah, but the thing I'm burned out on is SRP, right? Like, I don't want to be on the server at the minute. So I appreciate the offer though. So yeah, Crusader Kings 3 is out on Tuesday, and then obviously Furious Wild is potentially out on the 4th of September, according to Ryan. That's not official from CA, that's just Ryan, what he said he's seen. But they're both going to be possibly coming next week, so I'm excited to get those on the stream. Still want to roll Ultimate General, still enjoying Marbles on Mondays, so those will stay. What I'll probably do with Three Kingdoms is we'll do a bit of Furious Wild, and then I might take a couple of weeks off before we start the Kongrong Roadshow. And also I'm looking at getting some War Thunder streams going with the Randolphski. I'm sure most of you know who Kyle is by this point. So yeah, there's lots of stuff coming. I also think I'm moving the War Dog Unleashed podcast for August to potentially Saturday night, the 28th. Because it's my best friend's wedding anniversary on the 29th, and I think we're having a small get-together in the garden, like literally just him, his wife, me, and my housemates, and maybe one other couple. So we will be practicing social distancing and all of that stuff. But potentially that might be happening on Sunday, which is when the podcast would normally be. So I'm probably going to move it to the Saturday, I think. But yeah, that's that to come. Crusader Kings 3 to come. Furious Wild to come. Thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate it. Let's get on with this. Shiz, shall we? Sometimes there's a feeling burnout doesn't even make sense. It's like, I know I enjoy this. There's no reason not to enjoy this. But no. Yeah, exactly. 29th is Saturday. That's what I meant. 29th. Remember to turn on the nudity sensor if you plan to stream it. Yes, I will have to remember that, Imatech. But I mean, in truth, offline I'm probably going to be playing it with the sensor off. Squeaks coming in with the 9-month subscription. Squeaks, thank you so much. That is our Twitch baby. What do you want to call it? No, Ryan, I got the days right and the dates wrong. Like, Sunday is when my friends, like, we're going to my friend's garden. That's his wedding anniversary. I got the dates wrong, but not the days. So I'm moving the podcast to Saturday because I'm out Sunday. Potentially. Alrighty. Let's get this switched over. Oh, we do. Alright. So, for the last time in the Zhuo campaign, let's do a recap. It is the spring of 240 AD. Now, we started in 190, I believe, because we did Rise of the Warlords. So we're on turn 249. We've been playing 50 years. And we still haven't conquered China, even remotely, because Wu's still down here. That's something to look forward to in Furious Wild, by the way, guys. The bottom end of China is way, or at least the southwest, is way busier. There's a lot more people to contest Wu. They don't have so much free real estate, so this is probably the last time that we will see, or at least the last time that it will be easy for Wu to become this massive blob in the bottom half of China. So that'll be exciting when we finally get to Furious Wild. Yeah, I think I don't think this is stuff that I can't say because it's on Total War's channel if you go and watch their VODs. If I remember correctly, there's like a little bit, just a tiny bit down here has been added, and then there's like a little bunch in here. I think basically these trees up to these mountains, like there's kind of provinces added in there as well. And obviously the rest of the map, there's additional provinces and settlements and stuff been added in, so that's pretty cool. Our situation is we're at war with Wu and with Yu Minxiang. Ma Chao and Zhang Fei are our vassals. We're at war with Gongsun Shu up in the north, but that's more or less being wound up. And we're allied with Wei and Zhuo Jie. So we're basically just going to be fighting Wu. I don't know how long we're going to go for today. We'll see. I'm basically just going to stop at whatever point feels like the most profound point to finish on. I don't know when that's going to be. We'll see. Or if we get to the point where I'm like, nah, we've been streaming too long, we'll just finish it. We'll do it that way. But this is going to be the last episode of the Zhuo campaign. So I'd like to finish on a profound note, if we can. Not going to lie, I feel it makes sense that Wu get pretty big if left uncontested by a player, as historically, you know, they did that. They never got this big, though. Realistically, Wu was along here, and then sort of down here it was this bottom quarter, with the other bottom quarter being Shu, and then more or less the top half being Wei. They never got, like, Wu didn't do what they do, or have been doing so far. We should have taken all of our moves, so who's got the level ups? Huan Li Ping, which is Sahara, she's not here. Shu Cao, which is Mike, he's not here. And Niu Yen, which is Asher? I'm sure Asher is Niu Yen. Yeah, he is. And Asher's not here. So let's crack on with the end turn and see what Wu do. And what Gongsun Shu does. Apparently nothing. Sun Ce and Sun Chuan before him. Oh, hello. We've got a lot of armies in the southwest. Okay. Chop Sun Ce's head off if we capture him? No. Enemy activity, extract spy. Kingdom of Zhuo. That's us. Treachery. One of our supposedly loyal generals has emerged as a spy, defecting back to their masters and leaving us potentially disadvantaged. Who, though? Not one of our ministers. Have we really had these three open for a while? Who just left? I mean, it's not going to be him. Wait, is that who it was? Zhuo Jingjing? So if I go here, and then hello, I would like to see... No? You're not going to show me? Feel like it was Zhuo Jingjing, but... Did anybody have her sponsored? No, don't think so. Yes, let's disregard the stories and characters we've built for the sake of some mindless violence. Yeah, I'm not going to do that, Ryan. You know me anyway. So I think it was her. It could have been somebody else, but... Chunze Fu has gained the dutiful trait. Shi Gan and Man Yang Pei are friends. Chu Ying and Man Yang Pei are friends. Shi Gan and Yu Shun are friends. Shi Gan and Dong Yo. Shu Cao and Man Yang Pei. Cao Yen is available to recruit. But hey ho, we don't really need to. Alright. Han Tong has also leveled up. If I'm not mistaken, Han Tong is Travis's character. Alright. If we've got any civil sponsors in the chat and you want to do something, shout out and let me know. But since this is the last episode, I am mostly just going to skip you guys, because really, you know, even if we stick you on an assignment, it's not going to make any difference. It's not going to improve your career, because the career is going to end today. So I'm mostly just going to be moving the armies for this episode. But if you want to do something, let me know and we'll still do it. I'm just giving you a heads up that we're probably going to be doing it that way. What have I got this? Yeah, louder than normal. Alright, we're going to drop that to a night battle and then delegate it. Appreciate that, Ryan. Thank you very much. Okay. Black Stallion. Even with stuff like loot, like, especially if it's a general who's not here, I'm not going to bother looking at who would the AI give the loot to, because it's practically irrelevant. at this point. Zhangfang.
杀！为了天
Continue
下
that
大义，
siege.
开战！
Zhao Baofeng.
为了天下大义，
Decisive victory. Yeah, why not? Let's get rid of Gongsun Shu.
诸位举杯相庆吧！
Li Shu. Yeah, sure, why not?
齐心协力，
There goes Gongsun Shu. So at least we got rid of him before the end of the campaign. I mean, I am going to give her that equipment. Ning. Right, what's going on? We got Sichuan down there. Ma Chao is sieging Chen farmland. Let's play how many officers can we dogpile onto Sichuan? All of them by the looks of things.
绝不动摇。齐心协力，
为了天下苍生，向前进军，打起精神来，一扫污浊，令国安民，恪守职责，尽情厮
I bet he
杀。
runs. Hey, he couldn't run because he forced marched. Get wrecked.
承天所助，
We deployed 13,000 men against him. Replenishment.
乱贼，
It's the only
澄
one
清
that
四
makes
海
any。sense. Wen Yan has
我
leveled
已
up.
准备好作战了。
Not gonna worry too much about it because again the campaign's finishing after this episode, so I'm not gonna roleplay the skills as normal. I'm just gonna assign them one. I don't think any of these are sponsored characters. All of these guys making friends with each other, obviously, because they just won a victory. Right. I doubt any of them can move. That brings us to Dong Jimin, who definitely needs to get the F out of dodge because there's a lot of enemies coming and she's a coward anyway, so she's definitely going to leg it.
和而不摧，
Yushu needs to
保持
replenish
原样。
and stick him in the city.
我已归来，百姓是否安好？
Xu Ying also needs to replenish.
齐心协力，
Gonna stick him near the
全心注
city.
意。剑
And
锋
we'll
出鞘
hide him.，
攻其不备。
Dongli herself.
山前无路，则另寻他途。
I want to try and get ahead of Pang Tong, but I'm pretty sure he's going to besiege that before we do.
平定天下，
Yudi Gun
全力奋战。
can definitely start besieging Guangling.
拿起武器，
Wuchan. Okay.
振作起来，
Let's have you head down that
力求
way.
上进。
That's everybody moved for this turn. Onwards, noble steed. I was playing CK2 earlier. For anybody who's got the game or is interested in buying CK3, until CK3 releases on Tuesday, there's some challenges. Like they're called Life of the Monarch or Monarch's Life or something. I can't remember what they're called. I noticed them a while ago, but I thought they were just like a thing that CK2 that like Paradox were doing. But they actually give you points. Like, essentially, you play a specific character. I thought it was just saying, hey, play this character, they're interesting. But you play a specific character from history, and essentially there's a bunch of stuff that you have to do that's either historical or ahistorical, like, you know, stopping them dying or whatever. And having certain amounts of sons and certain amounts of land or whatever. And each one of them earns you points. And then the points go towards unlocking some extra cosmetics for CK3. So I decided to start trying to do some of these. I'm apparently really bad at it. I play CK far too slowly to actually win the, like, before the 1st of September. I'm not going to have very many points. But I was playing earlier as House de Rennes in France, in Brittany. And I was playing a character who's... the first character's name is Conan, with a K, not a C. But his son that he starts with is called Jaffrey, spelt J-A-F-R-E-Z. But I'm pretty sure since they're French that it would be pronounced Jaffrey, which, if that sounds like, hey, that sounds kind of familiar, I'm pretty sure that's because it's the early French or Breton name for Joffrey, as in King Joffrey. It's probably where George R.R. Martin got it from, but that was really interesting when I noticed that. And I was like, oh, he's called Jaffrey. That's cool. But, yeah, I had one character become an actual saint earlier today. Corey's coming into the stream. Corey, how you doing? Sarah, thank you so much for the 6 months with the Twitch Prime. Thank you so much, Sarah. I really appreciate that. Guys, let's get some War Dog howls on the go for Sarah. Let's get a bit of a Twilight howl on the go for that Twitch Prime sub there. Sarah, thank you very much. So yeah, I had a saint. Like, I had a character that was literally, like, his traits were incredible. He was a at the age of 21, because he became the Duke, or the King of Brittany, at like 14, 15 years old, and then came of age, right as after his father's army had been, like, I'd joined a crusade and then his father died. So I had him take over the army immediately. At like 16 years old or whatever. So at 21 years old, this guy was a crusader. He was like humble, diligent, charitable, kind, temperate, zealous, content, honest, gregarious, like basically all of the really good traits. Like, the dude was just a total, like, I don't want to say boss, because he wasn't actually like that much of a badass, but in terms of like Christian Catholic saintism, like, he ticked every single box. And after he died, the Pope beatified him, which is like like, I don't know if it's the first step towards sainthood or whatever. Like, a lot of people, more people get beatified than actually become saints. But he was beatified, and then a couple of months later the Pope actually made him a saint, which meant that my family now has like the blood of Saint Jaffrey. Like, their bloodline is the blood of Saint Jaffrey the Venerable, which is pretty fucking awesome. And then the immediate successor to him, his son Jaffrey, the King of France, tried to revoke my title. And that character was like brave and a marshal, like he had a military education and upbringing and stuff. So even though I felt like I was going to lose, because the King of France could raise 17,000 men and I could raise 5,000 or 4,000 even, I was like, I'm probably going to lose, but the King of France is fighting 3 wars. I'm one of his best commanders, and I don't think this character would actually submit to this. So I refused. I fought the King of France, and we won! I, like, married my sister off to the King of Leon, and allied with them, and they sent 7,000 men to help. And we beat the King of France. And I was like, oh my god, we beat the King of France. We kept our position. And I swear to shit, as soon as the war ended, I, like, was marching my army home. My ally was going home. He was no longer with me. Like, my army was down to 2,000 men. I disbanded the mercenaries that I'd paid for because I didn't need them. So my army dropped from like 3,000 to 2,000. And then immediately the King of France told me again, I'm revoking your title, but it was in a different way. Like, the game essentially tried to take my title off me in 2 different ways. Because it couldn't do it the same way as the first time, because I'd just won a war for that. So it tried to do it in a different way, and I was like, no, fuck you, I just won this war, I'm not losing it now. And I led half of France in a rebellion against the king, apparently. It was interesting. Right. Let's send you down to there. You can go with them. You're still running away. Have you kind of half double back.
心如利刃，稍事休息。
休息休息。
做得挺好。
难以达成。
Okay.
全军听令。
So if I like throw you onto the river like here.
我军必胜。起帆远航。
Then have you
消
attack.
灭敌军。
Yeah, okay.
正在渡水。众将听令。
I don't think you can catch her.
称霸珠海，万物失节。
God damn it. There's not enough room on the river.
满怀信念，奋力一战。
I don't know where Sun Tzu went. My guess is he's in ambush.
并非明智之举。
Alright, tell you what.
起
You
帆
move,
远航，
just
正
move
在
back
行
a
进
bit.。
要保持清醒，正在航
You
行。
move forward.
拿
There we
起
go.
武器。
Right, let's get rid of her.
大义将临，莫敢不从。
Move release
他们受
and
的苦也
release.
够多了。
Recruit.
正义必胜。
Right.
我等应设宴庆贺。
Can you get back
我已
into
归
there?
来，
Yes, you can.
廉洁奉公，忍受苦难。下谋。以逸待劳
Alright.，
静候敌军。
See if we can keep those two holding out. Yep, Pang Tong reached the farmland before Dong Li did, so we'll have her move straight down to the trade port.
天命在此。
Decisive victory. Medium casualties.
一统天
Not
下。
really. Not happy about that.
此为苍生黎民之天下，非暴虐诸侯之天下。大步向前，
Oh, hello. Sun Yan Shang.
存心守真。正在行进。请下命令。前进。
Alright, that looks like all the moves we can make for this turn. Somebody else has leveled up. Chu Ying has leveled up. Hello, Chu Ying. Why don't you take that one? I don't know where Sun Tzu went. I'm sure he's about to show us. Portuguese is attacking. Oh, there's Sun Tzu. Well, that's not gone well for that guy. Okay. Jiang Chuan gained the trustworthy trait. Taisha De. No, that would be Taisha Di. Wonder if he's related to Taisha Tzu. Alrighty. Gonna keep these guys moving back out of the north. Guanjie, how we doing? Still medium casualties, stay there. Can't quite reach Jiangsha. I'm going to take this farmland. Could leave the north by sea and drop into the south of Wu, where they've probably got absolutely nobody because they're all pushing the north front. Yeah, I mean, we could do that. I think if we were going to play more episodes, I probably would. But as it stands, they may as well just race to the front. Mao Mi. Let's move you down to there. Dong Jingmin. Yeah, we definitely don't want to be getting involved there. Good God. Why does it look like they're just trying to kill Dong Jingmin? What's going on? Okay, Yushun.
回归原状，力求上进，功名震天，定筹壮志，追寻荣耀。
Okay.
目标明确。
I'm gonna move Yushun up there and then Shu Ying into ambush there. See if we can pull Shu Yi down. Don't know if that's gonna work, but we'll see. Nobody likes a coward. Apparently not. How the f did he? Oh, you son of a bitch, Pang Tong. Alright, in that case, I'm just gonna have Dong Li jump straight on the river. The Empress herself delving deep into Wu's territory. Low casualties, that's what we want. Should be streaming again tomorrow as well, guys, so that should still be Battle Brothers, at least until CK3 comes out, and then maybe we'll see how far the Battle Brothers campaign is. As you know, if you've ever watched me stream Battle Brothers or anybody else, or you've played it, it's really fucking easy to lose Battle Brothers, so that campaign probably could end at any point. But we'll be playing that tomorrow.
坚持不懈。
We cannot do night battles. This is a really bad position for Wu Chan to be
看到
in.
众人汇集于此，我心甚慰。各就各位。 立刻群敌。出发！
We're definitely gonna have to withdraw him. Yeah, I mean, it definitely is, Ryan. It's crazy. Is Ma Chao still besieging Chun farmland? Because if he is, he's not doing a very good job of it.
怒吼吧！释放怒火吧！
I guess we'll send Jiang Qin to double check. Nope, Ma Chao's left. And now Zhang Fang is in there.
谨遵命令。
Okay, we'll just withdraw out of his reach. That'll do it for the autumn. Let's see if any of our old people die as we enter the winter of 240 AD. Whatever. She's going on quite a trek. Was that like 200 days in? Had a company of 14 men. Most were around level 7, a few up to 9. Then I upset a town by abandoning a mission. But it didn't tell me anything until a band of 6 well-armed mercenaries and 12 local guards jumped on me. Yikes. Yeah, I was doing a campaign recently that twice, actually, I recovered from it. Twice, but twice my company got almost completely annihilated. Settlement lost, settlement lost. Nope, no old people dying this one.
坚定不移，
Alright, she's now fully replenished.
做好准备。
So we may as well... Okay, so we may as well throw her onto the water. I'm pretty sure that they'd move faster on the water anyway.
扬帆前进，
协力
Guanjie, one turn until Chun surrenders. Still medium. Might as well wait another turn, to be honest. Although they have got an administrator, so
协力出击。
we can demand surrender.
准备作战。
Zhang Tuo leveled up. Need to go pass out for a bit. Way hot here. No worries, Scott. Thank you for stopping by the stream, man. I really appreciate the support. I hope to see you again soon. Whether it be in the Discord, in a stream, or, you know, at some point on SRP. Have a good one, buddy. Zhang Liao drops into ambush and avoids death once again. I mean, more or less, it's Zhang Liao's thing,
振作
right?
起来，
See, so we can get to there in 4 turns by sea, but we can get to there by 4 turns by land. It's not really any difference there, to be fair. Just gonna get her on the move. Sai Jining. Okay. In that
以
case,
柔克刚，
we will send
向前进
Mao
军，
Mi that way,
正在行进。
and she can go and besiege Jiangsha because she's close enough.
锐不可当。 杀！
Gronsement, welcome to the stream. Are you Jordan Peterson? Jordan Peterson as in the guy who talks about... Like, who's Jordan Peterson? The name rings a bell, and I think there's a dude that I really like called Jordan Peterson. Like, talks about something. I can't remember what topic it is now, but no, I'm not Jordan Peterson. Who's Jordan Peterson? Gronsement? Guys, welcome Gronsement to the stream. Gronsement's new.
法令必行。
Okay.
一统天下。
Oh, good God. There's still loads of them down there.
向前进军，
坚持不懈。
Okay. We're gonna have Yushun push up
定国安
towards
民
the farmland there.
准备作战，保持原样，我军必
We'll
胜
have。Chu Ying split back the other way, try and grab this guy. Get rid of him.
憧憬胜利。
Yeah, that's the Jordan Peterson that I thought. I don't sound anything like Jordan Peterson though. I really like him though, he's a smart man. Yeah, I think he's Canadian, isn't he?
摆好阵势，准备出击。
Rugan. It
我的
is
目标十分明确。
it is a very strange question, but it is
齐心
also,
协力，
in a nice way, one of the weirdest questions I think I've ever been asked. Like, if somebody said like a random name, like, are you Dave McAllister? It's like, I don't know who the fuck Dave McAllister is, so I don't know what to tell you. But for somebody to say, are you Jordan Peterson, when I'm like, I like Jordan Peterson. That was very very interesting. Right, we're gonna move Udigan over here.
安民，
There's a footballer called Dave McAllister. I thought there might be when I said McAllister off the back of Dave. I was like, I'm pretty sure there is a Dave McAllister. But the point being, I like, you know, like even if I thought to myself, I'm fairly sure there's a footballer called Dave McAllister. If somebody asked me, that's not the same as Jordan Peterson. Like, I do actually, I'm really interested. I've watched a lot of Jordan Peterson's videos and stuff because they are really interesting, and I try to apply a lot of his thinking where possible. Doing a He Yi campaign, just slapping up Cao Cao right now. Excellent.
诸军冬日切不可怠惰，当奋勇向前。我军所向披靡。
Okay. Let's drop into ambush there.
伏击，
That's going to do it for the winter of 240. Do you watch a lot of Jordan Peterson's videos, Cronsoman? I'm sure he's written books. Have you read any of his books? Ambush failed. Oh, good lord. We probably don't want to stick around there.
是我们冲过头了。
Uh-oh. 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 Just got his book, 12 Rules for Life. Awesome. You started reading it, or you only just bought it? Oh, Zhuo Jie has passed away and been succeeded by Hui Junshang. Do need to pick a reform. Not really too worried about what we're picking, to be honest.
行动如一，
Shoot, 5 turns to get there by sea, 4 to get there by land. Might as well go by land then. You got you a burger, Ryan. Where did you get a burger from? Thinking about getting Total War 3 Kingdoms, but I'm pretty new to the genre. Gronsman, in all honesty, if you're looking to get into any Total War game, I would strongly recommend Total War 3 Kingdoms as your first. Mostly because it's got the most accessible diplomacy. Diplomacy in 3 Kingdoms is much more straightforward, whereas in older Total Wars it's a bit more of a crapshoot, a bit of a mystery, and it does weird things. I can't personally recommend too much about Total War Saga Troy, which is out on Epic Games, came out a couple of weeks ago. I haven't played it. I don't want to play it because it's on Epic, and I don't agree with Epic, but also, even from what I've seen, it doesn't look like it's a better game than 3 Kingdoms to me. You ordered it? Where did you order a burger from? So I would strongly recommend, if you're looking to get into Total War, that 3 Kingdoms is a good title to start with. Sandwich Zhuge Liang here. Or not. Okay, we'll take the garrison out of the picture. Has Order Lucia gone into effect? No, we're not doing it. Only thing you don't like is how the battle looks? What's wrong with how the battle looks? Superiors. I'm pretty sure the Saga series is both their Let's Pump a Game Out for the dollars and their Let's Fuck Around and See What Happens series. I mean, I don't want to, like, shit talk CA too much, but I do know that Saga, like, or at least Saga Troy, came out of their Zofia studio, which is a totally different studio in Zofia, which I want to say is in Bulgaria, but I don't really know. It's a smaller studio, it's a different studio team to the ones that work on the main titles. So, you know, I certainly think there is a drop in, not necessarily a drop in quality, but just a drop in standards, right? Like, I feel like the bar is lower for Zofia than it is for the UK office. It is in Bulgaria, Rimatek, thank you. I was very disinterested by the 3K aesthetics, but Tom's streams got me hooked. Indeed-a-roo. Alright. We've got Jia Baofeng. She's already got movement orders, so she'll be fine. Cai Jianing. We'll continue that siege. Mao Mi. Actually going to bring him back towards Runan. I believe Troy uses the Warhammer engine. It quite possibly is the case, Lucia. I haven't seen a lot of Troy because I knew I wasn't going to be getting it because of Epic. So I really didn't look into it all that much. But from what I've seen, there certainly seems to be, like, the animations and stuff seem to be much more in tune with Warhammer than they are with the 3 Kingdoms, for example. So you might well be right there. Okay, you're not going anywhere. You need to go somewhere very, very fast. We'll smash Jenya assault mine.
今日此战乃是大义之胜。现在这里归我军所有了。
一统天下。 军出击。
Get rid of these your turbans that are in the way. Brutal. I just wish they didn't cock it up so bad with Total War Arena. I feel that could have been a fantastic game. Yeah, I mean, it's...
舍身尽忠。
I don't think I played a lot of Arena, but that was the one where you controlled like 3 units in an army, right? And it was like 3 or 4 people commanding an army total. Or something like that. China.
根壮而后，枝叶繁茂。
Okay, Sun Tzu and Sun Yan Shang are on the river now. I feel like we could push Wu Chan towards Chengdu farmland.
We'll continue
that. Somebody else has leveled up. Ryan Zhang Tuo has leveled up. 27-year-old, level 5 strategist, legendary strategist with a manipulator background. He's humble, enigmatic, quiet, clumsy and ascetic. And he has precision, stifling deluge, reach or abundance to level up. Yeah, I think the concept for Total War Arena, when I first saw it, I was really intrigued. Stifling deluge. You've got it, good sir. Alright, that's going to do it for the spring of 120, or 241 rather. I'm not even going to bother doing a spring save, because there's no point. Whenever Furious Wild comes out, the save's going to be invalid anyway. Degolate. Ah, I see. Yeah, that definitely feels like it was a misstep then.
谨遵命令。
Potentially an understandable misstep, rather, but still a misstep. I mean, don't get me wrong, I really enjoy Three Kingdoms, and I'm looking forward to further DLCs and such for Three Kingdoms. I do think Warhammer 3 is going to be cool whenever that comes out, but I also personally don't have a massive draw to the Warhammer games anymore, especially not now that we've got 3K. But I am interested to see what their next big title will be, whether it'll be like a totally new era, or whether they're going to revisit one of the ones that they've not done for a while. Empire and Napoleon are both getting really old now, and I think, you know, freshening up the graphics and introducing some of the newer systems like the new diplomacy into that kind of gunpowder powder shot era would be really interesting. I'm hoping that it will either be an Empire 2 or a Napoleon 2. Honestly, I think that they should do an Empire 2 with then a DLC specifically focused towards Napoleon's campaigns, kind of like they did with Rome 2 and then like the Caesar's Gallic campaigns and stuff. Because I know that the biggest criticism of Napoleon that a lot of people have, which is valid, is that it's very small scope compared to Empire. But then the thing that a lot of people criticize about Empire is that just plain they didn't quite have all of the mechanics and stuff worked out, and it doesn't work as smoothly as Napoleon, which is also valid. But it'd be like, can you imagine if they addressed both of those by doing Empire 2, Total War, and then a DLC for Napoleon's campaigns, or the Peninsula campaign, or, you know, the Waterloo campaign, or whatever. My favourite Total War game was Rome 2, then Shogun 2. Solid choices, Lucia. I'd really like them to pick a game which can have a solid emphasis on naval combat. I'd love for them to be able to hammer down naval combat. Ryan, I don't know if you've ever seen Empire or Napoleon or played them. They had a pretty good angle on naval combat. To be honest, they were the strongest contenders for naval combat in Total War. Like, I think that's practically undisputable that they are the best naval not necessarily saying it's perfect, but they had the best intake, something. They had the best something of all Total War games regarding naval combat. And plus, there was just something epic, especially on Napoleon, because the smoke effects were better, because the graphics were better. There was something epic about having those big battles and just seeing all the powder smoke eventually just kind of overtaking the battlefield. But I mean, equally as well, it might be a little bit too small, especially given that there's only two sides, really, which is the biggest thing for Total War, is there needs to be multiple factions, right? But it might be interesting if they did do an Empire 2 Total War. The second DLC they could release could be an American Civil War DLC, where sure the weapons might be updated a little bit in terms of models, but they would work exactly the same way. They'd just have faster rates of fire and stuff. So they could easily do Empire 2 with a DLC for Napoleon's campaigns and then the American Civil War. And hell, they could even do the War of Independence with the same set of mechanics. So Fall of the Samurai had decent naval combat. But that came off the back of Napoleon and Empire. They were essentially like using the same mechanics, the same engine and stuff. Okay, I know there was a dude up here somewhere.
打起精神来，诸位猛士，随我征战！正气如火，熊熊不息，路径明晰。注意！
Not really sure where he went.
向世人宣告我军大业，我绝不动摇。
I'm gonna keep those two out there and try and figure it out.
全军注意！
Remember the UK almost intervened in the American Civil War? Well, exactly as well, Lucia. That's why I think as a base game, Empire 2, because if you've ever seen Empire Total War, which most of you probably have, but it was global, right? There was like a few theatres. So you had the European powers, you had, you know, the American Indian tribes, with the European powers' colonial ambitions there, and then you had, you know, like subcontinent, the Indian subcontinent with its own couple of factions, and then you sailed from one arena to the other, which I thought was really interesting, and I feel like that would be the best way to do it. That's why I'm saying, for me, they should do Empire 2, where it's like that same focus on those wider global things, and then like they did with Rome 2, where they introduced Caesar's campaigns in Gaul, which was a smaller map with potentially reduced wide variety of factions, but more factions of the same varieties. Like, nobody ever complained about Caesar's campaigns in Gaul as a DLC for Rome, because it made a lot of sense. I've never played it because personally I prefer playing on the biggest map possible with as many factions as possible. But that is also in part because, sure, Caesar's campaigns in Gaul is pretty epic, and why would you not want to play it? But at the same time, if I'm playing on a map that has Rome and Gaul, I can play quote-unquote Caesar's campaigns in Gaul on the main map. Whereas if you did Empire 2 Total War, which was focused around that gunpowder era, but it was focused around the early 1700s like the original Empire was, but then your first DLC pack was Napoleon's campaigns in early 1800, well, not only do your factions change a little bit just because 100 years have passed, but, you know, some of the technologies and stuff get better. So, and also it's not something that people could do in the game, in the base game of Empire 2, because it's 100 years too early for Napoleon to be running around and Wellesley to be running around. So you get that. And then if you do the, even if you added in the American War of Independence, that's in 1776. That's 76 years after your start point for the original game. And it would work pretty well, actually, with the way they're doing Three Kingdoms with these chapter starts, right? Because I can't remember quite what the Three Princes start date is, but I think it's like 270 something, 280. We're almost at that start point with this campaign. I don't know, and I highly doubt that if we get there we'll start seeing those characters appear, but it's possible. And it sure as shit wouldn't be hard to do, because they've done it with the other chapters, like the ones that are closer together. So can you imagine an Empire 2 Total War, which was that's your base start, 1700, first DLC, Napoleon's campaigns, which gives you a new chapter start for 18 or like 1789 or whatever, when Napoleon first starts fighting, through to early 1800s. Then you bring in the American Civil War. You start that off in what is it, 1862, and then its own DLC, or attached to the American Civil War DLC, which you could just do Conflicts in America DLC. You have the American Civil War in 1862, and you have the War of Independence in 1776, and just add them as chapter starts to a game that already operates on more or less the same mechanics. Why would you end it with World War I though, Imatech? Like, at that point you're entering a totally different era of technology where the base game engine wouldn't work. I respect the people that want a World War I or World War II Total War. First of all, World War II Total War would never ever work, because World War II was fought on smaller squad-based and company-based things. Sure, to a degree, World War I works with Total War's engines, because it was still kind of being fought on a regimental level. It wasn't being fought on a company or platoon or squad level. But World War I was a conflict where the core of the conflict was just regiments sitting in a trench shooting at each other. Yeah, you could make that, like, you could run that in an engine that runs off of Napoleon or Empire, you know, gunpowder era weapons, but those, like, the rifles that they had in World War I fired ridiculous rates of fire. But then you've also got to factor in that there was also machine guns and submachine guns, and, you know, like, there was and things like tanks and all kinds of experimental weapons. It'd be cool to see them try to do a World War I Total War. And, you know, Warhammer's kind of opening things up for that a little bit more, with things like steam tanks are in Warhammer, so they've got tanks, you know, against pikemen, so it's doable. But I don't think it would actually work well as an expansion to an Empire Total War era thing. Like, it's too different from the gunpowder. And I get that, you know, as well, the Civil War is kind of straying away from the actual gunpowder. Like, it's no longer muzzle-loaded stuff, like it's breech-loaded weapons, but ultimately it is essentially just stand in a line and shoot at each other. It's the same tactics, it's just with faster-firing weapons. Fucking Jesus. I don't know who these dicks are that live around here. And they must live around here, because that happens occasionally, just at random. But it's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Get a grip. Right. I'm bringing you back over here, or I was bringing you back over here to support him. Okay, you're gonna have to stay there. I think a Total War South America would, I'd probably tie that into, again, like, with the way that they've gone with Three Kingdoms with chapters and stuff, I really like it, and I think it's a good way. It's a better model than what they were trying to do before. I think if they did do that Empire 2 Total War with the chapter packs, and one of the chapter packs was, you know, the War of Independence and then the American Civil War, you're gonna end up with a couple of minor Indian, like Native American factions in there, because there were Native Americans that fought on either side in the War of Independence, and there were some involved, indigenous peoples in and around the Civil War as well. I also think if you were going to go down that path, it depends how many chapters you want to release, but you could easily release a, you know, America, rather like a, don't know how you would describe it, but like as America moved west, right, and they ended up in conflict with the indigenous peoples, you could easily make that into a chapter pack, and you could easily make, you know, an indigenous peoples chapter pack that expands the indigenous peoples that are already in the previous ones, and then adds in more South American ones as well. Like, I think it could, they could do a lot with that kind of system and that kind of setting, I think. I'm just excited to see what it is that they do decide to do next for a main title.
一鼓作气，
前进！
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
我已准备好作战了。
Okay, we're gonna keep her there for a turn
心
at
怀
least.
荣耀，天命在此，全力奋战。
Total War game based on the 30 Years War. Not very familiar with the 30 Years War, I have to admit.
此为苍生黎民之天下，非暴虐诸侯之天下。稍事休息，勇夺荣耀。出发！
Okay. I mean, yeah, it'd be great to see some real love to the Inca and Aztec nations. I agree. I just think that, you know, like, that's part of the reason why I think with the whole the chapter pack thing and Empire 2 Total War as a concept, that would work really well. It would be really difficult to make a full Total War game based just around, you know, Aztecs and Incas and Mayans. Like, they're relatively similar. Like, yes, okay, they're different cultures and they have different, like, warriors and whatever, but when you think of them from a mechanics or from an aesthetic appeal point of view, they're very, very similar. They're all native South American peoples that have animal skins and feathers, or at least that's the way they're depicted commonly in media. And it'd be much kind of like, it'd be the same issues as they had with when Three Kingdoms first launched, right? One of the biggest critiques that people had of it was, oh, every faction's the same, all the units are the same. That's why you've seen with more and more of the chapter packs, you know, like 8 Princes introduced a bunch of different units. Yellow Turbans introduced a totally different mechanics for the Yellow Turbans. A World Betrayed introduced bandit factions with totally new units and totally unique mechanics. Furious Wild is introducing Nanman units, because as much as the period is a great period for Total War, I mean, I've always said that the Romance of the Three Kingdoms period is perfect for Total War, because it's a single, like, it's a small area, relatively speaking, globally, with a massive conflict, with dozens, if not double dozens, of factions involved, right? Like, it's perfect in that sense, but in the sense that they're all Chinese factions, they're all Chinese armies, they all more or less have the same units, right? Like, that was the biggest problem. And I think you'd run into the same thing if you tried to do a specifically South American, Aztec, Maya, Inca total war. Like, they're all just South American tribes. But that's why I think it would work really well as a chapter pack that expands on, you know, that kind of Empire 2 Total War thing. The first of welcome to the stream. I always love Romance of the Three Kingdoms history the most. It is incredible. It is an absolutely fascinating period of history. I don't know where that... Oh, that's where he went. Okay.
深谋远虑，悉心节欲，待时而发，迈向胜利。
诸位猛士，
Okay, you still have a
随我
movement
征战，
order.
锐
You're
不可当。
besieging there. Still medium casualties.
为天下苍生。
You've moved over there, which you arguably need not do.
发动农民，立马行动，
Let's take you two
廉
over
洁
that
奉
way.
公。
秩序井然，则四海可定。
Okay. Stay where you are
胸
for
怀
now.
中正，
坚如盾牌，势如利刃。我的目标十分明确，正在行进。
万物失节，释放怒火吧！
Close victory. I mean, it'd be worth doing that just to defeat Sima Yi and Xu Yi. Although we need siege equipment.
护国讨贼，
I expect it'd basically be America and then a portion of North Mexico with a few settlements in it. It'd be pretty awesome to actually see a civilization, even if it was just the Aztecs, but then properly fleshed out with their campaigns, endgame being the Spanish invasions. I mean, I think that's doable, especially in that kind of guise that I've been modelling here of Empire 2 Total War plus chapter expansions, right? Because it gives you that ability to more or less build what is essentially a saga game, but tie it into a main title, which is, I think that's where CA would do really well. Like, I do think there's certain conflicts in history that just plain lend themselves to a saga game, and they wouldn't really work very well as a chapter pack for a bigger game. But Empire 2 Total War with chapter packs based around Napoleon, the War of Independence, the American Civil War, and then just general colonialism. Yeah, absolutely. And I think that you could easily work them all on the same engine, because warfare, as much as the weapons and the technology improved, the actual tactics didn't change for hundreds of years. Hell, if you wanted to, as much as Imatech was like, what the final DLC, World War One, I think that's a little bit too late. But the final DLC, if you wanted to do it chronologically speaking, I think you could do the early 1900s with stuff like the Boer War, right? Where you've got the Zulus against the British Empire. Because, again, as much as they were breech-loading rifles and cannons against people with spears and shields, like, the tactics were the same on the British side as they were in 1700. Stand in a line, fire as fast as you can, and don't break. And if we've got cannons, cannons will help you. And if we've got cavalry, cavalry will help you. But, like, that's essentially it. It's like the strategies, the tactics didn't change from 1709 to 1909. They only started to change in the 1910s with, you know, the Mad Minute, which was, you know, that was done with rifles. But then World War One, you start seeing all kinds of supporting weapons such as machine guns and submachine guns and tanks and aeroplanes being used, and that's where I feel like it starts to get a bit too complicated for a Total War game. But you could easily do a Total War game that was from 1700, well, let's say 1700 to 1910, right, with chapter packs. It would not be, I don't think, mechanically. What I mean by that is the engine to drive the conflicts, right? The engine of how you balance how the units fight each other wouldn't be that different. It'd be no different to the way that they worked out Fall of the Samurai. That was melee units fighting gunpowder units. That's all you need. Take that out of Fall of the Samurai. Take most of your engine out of Three Kingdoms. Your diplomacy out of Three Kingdoms as well. Take the global theatre out of Empire, smash them together, and then start doing your chapter-based expansion packs on Napoleon, the American Civil War, American War of Independence, American expansion into the West, colonial expansion in South America, and end it with things like the Boer War. Warfare changed after people used sulfur to make guns and explosives? Absolutely. But what I'm saying is warfare, once they had guns and explosives, did not change for 200 years. The tactics were the same in 1700 as they were in 1900. You're not moving. Move her back up there.
砥砺内，拿起武器，不辱使命。
廉洁奉公，忍受苦难，
Yeah, we might want to
定
withdraw
国
you.
安民，力求上进，功名震天。
Exactly, Lucia's spot on. It was the Great War that changed how wars were fought. 100%. I mean, hell, wasn't Crimea in like 1911? That wasn't drastically different. It was kind of in an intermediary between the Boer War and the way that the First World War was fought. But even then, it wasn't drastically different from the way that things like the Boer War were fought. But by the time you get to the Great War, technology and tactics and strategy had changed too drastically for that to be tacked on to the end of a Total War game that's based on a totally different strategic way of fighting. Or a totally different tactical way of fighting. Run away.
一场败仗而已，再接再厉。
Crimean War was 1853 to 1856. Okay, I mean, I didn't know that. I'm sure wasn't there some kind of conflict that the Brits were involved in the early 1900s over in the east somewhere. I thought that it was the Crimean War, but I could be wrong. No, it wasn't the Boer War, that was in Africa. The Opium Wars were fought in China, so that's not it either. I mean, it could be the Crimean War I'm thinking of and just didn't realise when it was. I'll be back in a quick sec, guys. Okay. The Second Boer War was 11th of October 1899 to the 31st of May 1902.
此地百姓聚集，最适合在此开始
I don't know,
贸
I'm
易。
not really sure which one it is that I'm trying to think of. Apparently we've had two new members of the family born. Wait, what? Hold on. Fuck off. It looks like both of, because we've got two Dong Yos in the family, right? We've got this Dong Yo and we've got this Dong Yo, and they both just had a child at the same time. Excellent.
稳住阵型，目标明确。
一往无前。养兵千日，用兵一
Go
时
take。back Runan Iron
心
Mine.
怀怒火，奋勇杀敌。设宴摆席，欢呼庆祝吧！此城甚善，先收下了。
What would make a great DLC for this game? The 18 Kingdoms period?
枯木悲秋，萧
Gained
萧独
Master's
泪。
Leather.
坚定不移。
Oh, there you go, Guanjia. You get a new outfit.
深谋远虑。
路径明晰，
What time period was it?
为了天下大义，锐不可当。
Oh, they brought an army up. Good you. Bless you.
根壮而后，枝叶繁茂。振作起来！
Okay. Let's bring you over this way.
出发！
Rapido. I don't trust
炮
that. I
兵
can't
逆
see
贼
them.，
匡扶天下。
拿起武器！
行动如一。
Between the Qin and Han
万民
dynasty.
之声不可小觑。
So that would be like hundreds of years before this, right? I think that's the difficult part, to be completely honest. Knights were a big thing in medieval times in Europe. They were. That's the other thing that they could well be working on next, is like Medieval 3, because it's been a while since Medieval 2 came out. You know, even just in terms of doing a more updated graphics
百
engine
姓
for
定会单食
that
胡浆
title.，
夹道欢迎。
That could be the next option as well.
我已准备好作战了。
To be honest,
正在
unless
行
they
进
do a completely brand new era, which is possible, my money would either be on some kind of Empire/Napoleon 2 or a Medieval 3.
势如
I
利
mean,
刃，
arguably they could do Shogun 3, but I don't think it's been long enough since Shogun 2. Obviously, I think Rome 2, they're still within the. That's. I mean, it's been more recent than the other ones, so it's not going to be Rome. They are doing Warhammer 3, but that's kind of a different thing.
或谓攀遍群山，群山浑然不知。我拒绝做此等蠢事。
违令者斩。
They had DLC for Rome 2 recently. They did. Which kind of just, you know, backs up the idea that that wouldn't be the next one.
匡扶天下。
此为苍生黎民之天下，非暴虐诸侯之天下。向前进军，立刻群敌。各就各位，追寻荣耀。
Okay. Rise of the Republic? Or the Rome DLC? Yeah. Oh, you can fight night battles. Well, that's not very nice of you. Sure what you're going to do now. You're going to have to fight everybody else. Oh, that's... What? Predicted casualties low. I guess because we've got a reinforcing army. Ooh, we gained some golden armor.
放他们回家去吧。我们撤。
Uh-oh. Double uh-oh.
我军势穷，暂且撤退。我此战
No!
尚未结束。
I'm not fighting. Well, we lost somebody. I'm really looking forward to Wu not being this kind of epic, ridiculous problem in Furious Wild. Bian Huifeng was released. Liu Xiao was executed at 49 years old. Yao Zhuo was released. Gu Yong has died of natural causes, age 73. We're in the winter of 241. I mean, realistically speaking, I don't think we're going to get much further, to be honest. Right? Like, this is at the point, I've done this in several campaigns, where I don't know how many armies Wu have actually got, but they've got 2 here, they've got 3 here, they've got fucking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, plus an allied one there, plus Sun Tzu and whatever army he was running around with has disappeared in here. And it is possible to beat them, it is possible to win, especially if you fight some of the battles, but like my biggest reason that I don't want to do that right now is because this is the final episode, right? Like, what difference does it make if we spend 3 hours fighting battles with Wu to make progress? Like, we're then, like, you know what I mean? It's 3 hours and then we're done. Like, we're not actually going to make any progress. I feel like this is probably where we should end it, to be honest. The winter of 241 AD. Ryan, I know you said you wanted Zhang Liao to die, so that you could have seen his story from beginning to end, and I definitely understand that. But he's a 72-year-old man. I mean, his story is ended. It just didn't end with him being dead. It's not only unlikely, even if we were to keep playing, that he would be used again, especially now that the capital's not threatened. Like, we've pushed the front line way down here. Nobody's going to threaten the capital. There's no reason that Zhang Liao would ever take to the field again. But I think this is as far as we get, to be honest, with this Dongzhuo Dongli campaign. We've got more or less half of China. I mean, I feel like Wu might have slightly more than half. If we'd pushed them down to the river, we probably would have half. At least us, our allies and our vassals together would have half. This is ultimately just going to end up with a massive conflict with Wu that goes on until the game ends, essentially, and we don't have time for that anymore. Annex Ma Chao? No. I refuse. What do you guys reckon? Like, is there any point for the next hour just, like, continuing to box back and forth with Wu? Like, I don't think the front line has even moved in the 2 hours that we've been playing. Or the 90 minutes that we've been playing. What we can do is we can go back to the start. Can I remove this list? I don't think I can. We could look for a big ass fight and end on a big cinematic battle. We could, but if I'm being honest, Ryan, I just plain can't be bothered to do a battle for the sake of doing a battle. Battles are hard, and I'm not in the mood, which is probably my bad. But I just don't want to do another. I don't want to do a massive battle just for the sake of doing one. Like, I feel like knowing that this is the end, this is it done. I don't really want to do a big battle. I have got access to the Furious Wild. Yes, I should have an email, but I haven't checked yet because they told us that there was a patch coming out this morning for it, and I knew we were doing this stream, so I haven't looked at my email yet, but I should have it, and I will be able to start showing it from Friday, from the 28th. I don't actually know when I'm first going to show it, but at minimum, Wednesday next week will probably be a Three Kingdoms Furious Wild stream, because we're going to be ending this campaign today. So, also, is there a bitty in the glass vibrating wildly for anyone else? No, there is one for me as well. There is a very angry bitty in there. I'm going to let this roll. I'm going to roll the records mode. We are, of course, this dark grey, brown, sort of black blob here at the start. The majority of the red on the map is the Han. So we're going to roll through. yeah, let's let this play. We'll see how we went, how we expanded. Very, very slow start, as always with when we're doing these campaigns. Expanded west, expanded north, lost north, recaptured, started expanding east. More fighting in the north, more fighting in the northeast. That's a lot of fighting in the northeast. That's when Yuan Shao and Gongsun, or that was Yuan Shao actually, consolidating the northwest, taking some of the center. And Gongsun Shu betrayed us. Wow, he got gobbled up fast. Admire Zhang Liao leading Lu Bu around like a pit bull. A pit boo, if you will. Very clever rhyme. So yeah, I mean, I'm going to consider this campaign complete, even like for the benefit of those watching the VOD, if anybody ever does on YouTube. I know we haven't painted the map. We haven't necessarily even won the game because we only hold 2 of the 3 Imperial seats. But we're going to consider this complete because we can't continue anyway after Furious Wild comes out. I've had a lot of fun with this campaign. I'm looking forward to doing another one. I do really enjoy the sponsor and officer campaigns, even though they are sometimes painfully slow. And I do think as long as CA is still releasing those DLCs and chapter packs and expansions, we are going to struggle to ever paint the whole map before something comes along and disrupts the campaign. But I'll probably continue playing Three Kingdoms even after CA stops bringing out new chapter packs and stuff every 6 to 12 months. I'll still be playing it. We'll still be doing sponsor and officer anyway. So this is going to be it for the Dong Zhuo / Dong Li campaign. It's mostly been the Dong Li campaign, if we're honest. Dong Zhuo died very early on. But I really do appreciate everybody who sponsored an officer in this campaign, whether you only just sponsored one for one episode and then, you know, you didn't really watch or turn up again. Like, that's fine. And I still value everybody who sponsored an officer and who contributed towards our collective little story here. We'll be doing Furious Wild, at least for the first few next times we stream Three Kingdoms. And then at some point we will start our Kong Rong campaign, which was the next one that was voted for. I'm also going to change the way I do the voting. I used to, when we started it, when we did the first votes, I said I'm going to play the top 2, right? Like the one that wins and the runner-up. And then the third one's going to get a boost going into the quote-unquote next season of voting. And then I kept doing it that way. But the reason that I originally said I'm going to play the top 2 is because I was planning on playing Three Kingdoms like 2 to 3 to 4 times a week. In fact, I think it was 3 times a week. I was going to do Monday, Wednesday, and Friday initially. And I was like, I'll do one campaign 2 days a week, and then the second one we'll just do 1 day a week for some variation. Not that that was the best idea in the world. But I've still continued to do the votes as if I'm playing 2 campaigns at a time, which I'm not. So I think we're going to do the Kong Rong campaign, and then we're going to end the voting. I'm going to let the voting ride whilst we're doing the Kong Rong campaign. And when we end the voting for the Kong Rong campaign, I'm just going to pick whoever's won. And then we'll give 2nd and 3rd place a boost into the next season of voting. Instead of doing 2 at a time, because it's almost silly, because like when we finished the last one, which was when A World Betrayed came out, we were trying to finish up the Cao Cao campaign, and you know the only reason we still had that is because it was like I initially did Cao Cao, and then we did Zhongjiang, and then I invented or introduced the sponsor and officer thing, so then we redid Cao Cao because he was the one who won the first time. And it was like, and then World Betrayed came out, and we were like, okay, well, we're not redoing Cao Cao again, so let's move on to who won Season 2, which is Dong Zhuo, with Kong Rong as the runner-up. But now we still, like, going into Furious Wild, we're now set to play Kong Rong. Whereas if we didn't do that, and Dong Zhuo had won the last campaign, but now Dong Zhuo was finishing, you know, I could throw on the new factions for Furious Wild and say, alright, you've got a week to finish your votes off, and we'll see who is next, essentially, and see if it ends up being one of the new factions that's coming in the newest expansion. So I'm going to change it after Kong Rong, I think, but we'll be doing Kong Rong next. Well, technically we're going to do some Furious Wild stuff, but we're not going to do a full campaign. I'm just going to do 2, 3, 4 streams of it just to show it off, and then we'll start a Kong Rong stream. It will be Battle Brothers tomorrow. I'm not going to be on SRP tonight. I may still stream tonight, but honestly I don't think I'm going to. The 3 AM streams, when I'm doing SRP, they're easy to do because I just go on and see what happens. I don't really know what to stream if I'm not going to stream SRP, because it's not like a scheduled stream slot. I might never play the game again, or I might not play that game for weeks or months at a time, so I don't really want to do it that way. So I think I'm just not going to bother. Whilst I'm taking a break from SRP, I'm not going to do the 3 AM streams. 3 AM my time, that is. I'm not going to reset the character vote in Imatech. I'm just going to let it ride. We're just going to start doing just the winner of the votes. But I don't want to reset it, because the whole point of letting them keep their points was, you know, everybody votes for Cao Cao. Okay, cool. Cao Cao wins. Next season, Cao Cao's not an option because he was the last one. Okay, so everybody votes for Sun Jian. Okay, so Sun Jian wins. Then season 3, Cao Cao's back in the voting. Well, everybody likes Cao Cao, so most of them vote for Cao Cao. He still ends up winning. Then we play Cao Cao, Sun Jian, Cao Cao. It's like, okay, I mean, if that's what people want, that's what people want, but it's going to get boring. So the reason that I let people keep, or let the options keep their scores, is that way the factions that usually get overlooked, like, essentially what I want it to be is, if you personally, right, just you as an individual, say, I would really, really, really like to see Tom play Yuan Shu. Well, I can tell you for a fact that nobody else seems to want me to play Yuan Shu because he never gets fucking voted for. But in theory, if we did enough seasons and you always put Yuan Shu at the top of your list, he's going to accrue 3 points every season, and eventually he's going to have the most points. So he would still get played, which is why I'm not going to wipe the scores clean, because the theory is, if somebody really, really wants a specific lord to be played, they just have to keep voting for them, and eventually they will win just by virtue of how many points they started with at the start of a season, because they carried them over. So I'm not going to wipe the points at all. Gongsun Zan would be an interesting campaign. I mean, the votes are there. I'm not really sure what score Gongsun Zan is at right now, but you know, the votes, you can vote for whoever you want, and the points carry over. So yeah, it will be Battle Brothers tomorrow with Blazing Deserts DLC. Saturday will probably be the War Dog Unleashed podcast for August. Monday will be probably Marbles Monday. Tuesday is obviously my day off. Wednesday will probably be a Furious Wild stream, and then Thursday next week may well not be Battle Brothers. That might then be CK3, which should be out by then. I might even do CK3 on Tuesday next week. I don't know, because I'm going to be playing the shit out of it anyway, but I really would like people to be able to see it played as well. It's not quite going to be as compatible with like sponsor and officer and stuff like that. It's just not going to work. But you do get to name get to name family members, like in the game. I mean, so it's possible that people could, you know, say, oh, could I have a family member? I'm not going to make it a guarantee. I'm not going to make it a promise, because, you know, it's potentially because I'm going to be trying to roleplay it, so I don't want to necessarily be roleplaying, you know, Kingy McKingface because somebody decided to be a troll with one of the family members and then they ended up the one that was inheriting everything. So it's not going to be a guarantee, but we'll definitely take suggestions, and we'll try and I'll be role-playing it the way that I think it should be role-played, but I'm absolutely open to people saying like, oh, I think that, you know, with the traits you've got, that would also make sense, or whatever. We'll try and role-play it collectively. Fastkill, welcome to the stream, buddy. We're just finishing up, unfortunately. Lucia, there's no Sunday stream this week because it's my best mate's wedding anniversary, so I'm moving because it would be the podcast, the Unleashed podcast, because it's the end of the month. That would be on Sunday, but because I'm away, I'm moving it, or not away, but because I'm probably busy, I'm moving it to Saturday. But normally I'm still streaming Sundays. That isn't changed. It's just this week. Which area are you looking at playing first? I honestly have no idea. There's going to be 2 start dates. There's 1066 and 876. Obviously the 1066 start is and you can play any character in the world, but there's ones that they recommend, and obviously in the 1066 start they recommend like William the Conqueror, Harold Godwinson, Harold Hardrada. I would personally prefer not to start in 1066 because I always love to start as early as possible so that I can build things up. What I personally may do is start in 876, and I will start in Iceland, in the top, which I know is in the top left of the map. And I've done that in CK2 before, where I've started in, you know, the top corner of the map in Iceland with 1 county, and then tried to eventually, you know, build up this kind of kingdom, starting off as a Viking kingdom. And then I think the most successful time I did it on CK2, it reformed paganism into a more organized religion. But then I think because of one of my leaders, it ended up becoming a Catholic religion, or a Catholic kingdom. But it was like a pseudo-Viking Catholic kingdom that occupied most of Britain and some of Scandinavia, and came centered out of Iceland. So I might try and do that, but I'm also open to, if I, you know, kick one off on stream, we can talk amongst ourselves about what would be the most interesting place to start one. 0800 00 1066. Fuck you, Ryan. So yeah, Battle Brothers tomorrow. No streams during the nights for the next few days at least. Podcast on Saturday, Marbles on Monday, maybe CK3 on Tuesday, Furious Wild next Wednesday, probably CK3 next Thursday, and then after that we'll see what's what. It's it's a jingle from a commercial, Lucia, over here. I think it's for insurance. It's from a company called Hastings Insurance, and their advert used to be like a guy singing their number, which was 0800 00 1066. Hastings Direct Insurance, yeah. And it's successful because I said 1066, and the first thing Ryan thought of was that advert, or that commercial, and then he wrote 0800 00, and I knew exactly what he was getting at and finished it off. So it's obviously a smart piece of advertising. So yeah, thank you guys so much for hanging out. I've been really, really shitty as a streamer again this month. At this point, I almost just, like, it's difficult not to feel bad about it, because I've been saying that now since fucking June, where I'm like, this month's been really bad, next month's gonna be better, and then I just have a fucking meltdown for some reason. I'm not gonna say I hope next month's gonna be, well, I'm not gonna say next month is gonna be better. I do hope next month's gonna be better, and I anticipate that it will be, because, you know, CK3 and Furious Wild gives us some nice new stuff to deal with. And I also think once we've showed off Furious Wild for a little bit, I'm going to take Three Kingdoms off the schedule just for a couple of weeks to kind of cool off, and because I am kind of getting to the point of being sick of seeing Three Kingdoms again, which when you play it every week and you do, you know, 3 hours, like again, I really do enjoy the sponsor and officer streams, but the pace on these streams is fucking slow. Because there's like so many people involved and stream lag, and then we're having conversations like, so it ultimately, like, it's very difficult for me when I'm playing it every week. When I'm really enjoying it, it doesn't matter. But when you're starting to feel burnout anyway, it amplifies the burnout when it's like we've literally only managed to get through 5 turns in 3 hours. Like, that's kind of insane. And it doesn't help with burnout because not a lot changes in 5 turns. So you kind of just feel like every single week you're not really getting anywhere. And I imagine you guys feel the same way with it too. And I don't want me or you guys to get burned out on Three Kingdoms. So I'm probably going to remove it from the schedule for a couple of weeks after we showcase Furious Wild. Imperator Rome again? Probably not, Lucia, in all honesty, because it didn't seem to do very well on the stream. Not a lot of people were really super into it. If I ever bring Imperator Rome back, it will most likely come back as something I do in a weird time slot. Maybe if I do end up doing daytime streams or something, or potentially in like one of the nighttime slots if I choose to, you know, drop one of my SRP nights every single week and regularly make it into something. That might be Imperator Rome, but it's not going to take one of my evening slots because most people just didn't seem to really vibe with it. I think it's pretty cool when there's a lot going on, like 5 turns is fine if there's a lot of back and forth, like our exchange with me, Sahara and Cal, actual stuff going on. But 5 turns of just people bumbling around and not really sure what to do can be frustrating just to watch. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm getting at, Ryan. And again, like, I don't mind, and I'm not trying to pick on people. I don't want anyone to think, oh, Tom doesn't want us here, so I'm just not going to turn up for sponsor streams. That's not what I'm saying. But, like, it is exactly what you just said. Like, 5 turns when stuff's happening and people are actually having fun and doing stuff, it's great. I don't care if it's only been 5 turns because it feels like there's a lot happening. But 5 turns of, you know, 7 different people saying, what can I do? And then having it explained to them, then disappearing before the explanation's even finished, and then coming back and going, sorry, I wasn't listening, could you just explain all of that again? It's like, yeah, I mean, I can, but at this point I feel like we've spent the last 45 minutes doing absolutely nothing. And when that, you know, feels like it's been the case for the entire stream, and then the next stream kind of starts going the same way, it's like, Jesus fuck, like, I don't really want to keep doing this at this point. So yeah, I do enjoy the sponsor and officer streams, but I think we've got to be careful that we don't burn out on them. So I'll be pulling Three Kingdoms just for a couple of weeks, just for a little bit, just for a break. And I think it's perfectly timed as well, because I can pull it off the schedule with CK3 coming out, and I can play more CK3 on stream in Three Kingdoms as slots, and see how people like it, and, you know, lets me play CK3, which is what I really want to do. And we'll see where it goes. Right, Ryan, exactly. Like, you get it, for sure. But yeah, thank you guys so much for coming out. I appreciate it. I've been a fucking terrible streamer. Well, I mean, I haven't even been a streamer for the last week, for the last 9 days. It shocked me when I saw that my last stream was the 17th, and I'm like, it's the 26th. I haven't streamed for 9 days. That's ridiculous. Which explains a lot about why I've been feeling... It's one of those as well where, like, when you don't stream because you feel bad, and then you start to feel bad because you're, like, cancelling streams, quote-unquote, all the time, you feel worse because you feel like, it feels like, oh, I'm, like, people are waiting on me, people are asking, like, oh, are we doing it? And people are making plans or not making plans because they think I'm streaming, and then I'm not. Like, fucking, oh, it just honestly makes you feel worse that you had to cancel, or at least makes me feel worse that I had to cancel. So I appreciate you guys coming out and participating and being in chat and joining in, because it really, I was really worried about tonight. Like, the main reason I did this is because of the timeline, because if we didn't do it tonight, I didn't know when we were going to be able to do it. So I was like, I have to stream this, even if it's just an hour of me talking to myself and then saying, well, that was it, thanks very much, see you later. So I appreciate you guys for coming out. Pull 3k off and you can still keep BB on tomorrow's slot. BB's tomorrow's slot anyway, Imatech, because CK3's not even out. So 3k BB, sorry, will be on tomorrow. We'll see what's what next week. I like BB, it just takes so much time to understand it. A huge amount of trial and error, so multiple wipes and restarts. Well, yeah, but I mean, you know, to a degree, I think that actually makes the streams interesting, because people can come in and name a dude, and, you know, the next week everybody got wiped and we've started again, so you can name a new dude. Like, you don't necessarily develop the same attachment that you have with, like, Zhang Liao and stuff in this campaign, but I think it's more accessible for the people that do seem to just drop in for a little bit, or drop in for one stream and then they drop back out and you don't see them for a couple of weeks. Battle Brothers actually lends itself really well towards those people, because they don't have to keep up with what's going on. And even if they come in regularly but they disappear for an hour or 2 hours and then they come back later and it's like, what's going on? It's the same thing that was going on 3 hours ago. We're doing missions, killing things and trying not to die and not being very successful at it. So it's actually, I think Battle Brothers is really accessible in the sense that people don't really need to keep up with it. Which is one of the things that, like, Three Kingdoms and XCOM, when we're doing sponsor an officer and sponsor a soldier, is difficult. And I think Ultimate General is another one where, sure, like, it's probably more fun if you keep up with it, but you don't have to. Like, essentially, you do your regiment and then you can fuck off and I'll fight the battles, and then you come back and go, is my regiment still alive? Yes. Actually, you need to pick this skill level up. Cool, that's what I want. See you later, I'll be back next week. Like, it's, you know what I mean? Like, they don't have to follow the battles. They don't have to watch the entire stream. They can just drop in and be like, I'm just checking in on my sponsor, which is cool. Monterey Jack. There you go. Good old Monterey Jack. So, yeah, like, I'm actually hoping that CK3 will be a bit of both. It's not going to be possible to do like a full sponsor and officer thing, because I only get to control one character in CK3 really, and you only get to name your own family. But I do think it might be an interesting one just to experience together and go through it together. Something that I do want to do on stream at some point is Stellaris, which, again, not necessarily a game where it'll be Three Kingdoms level of in-depth with sponsor and officer, but you can rename ships, you can rename leaders, you can rename planets, we could even name ship classes after people. Like, so there's so much renaming you can do in Stellaris that gives people more investment without them having to sit and watch the entire thing and be like, I want to do this now, I want to do that now, I want to do this now, which it's difficult with Three Kingdoms because I love it, and I think that certain people like yourself, Ryan, really enjoy the fact that you get to choose every choice that your character makes. But I genuinely feel like most of the people who participate in it don't want to spend that amount of time sitting here and wondering what to do and not having any idea and, you know, going back over the options again and again and again. And then, like, I think that's why we don't see very many people come back. Or if they do, they pop in and they go, am I alive still? Cool. See you later. Like, they don't want to sit here and try and micromanage their sponsor. Now, that said, I'm not going to change how it works on Three Kingdoms, because I don't really see any other way of making it work, unless it's just a case of choosing your level ups. But then I think it would alienate, you know, like people like yourself that really enjoy it, and I don't want to do that. But I do think that people enjoy having their name in the game more than they enjoy having the ability to control what they're doing in the game. It is the same with Hoi 4, Lucia. Yeah, you could name divisions and stuff in Hoi 4, but I think Hoi 4 I have a feeling that Hoi 4 would that'd be one that alienates people, because they wouldn't really understand what was going on. Sorry, I had to stick my headset on charge. They wouldn't really understand what was going on, and it would be super hard to keep track of their individual division. Whereas in Stellaris, we would be able to say, oh yeah, your ship is in that fleet, and I know where that fleet is because all I have to do is click on that fleet. Whereas in Hearts of Iron, it's like, I don't know where the fuck your division is. It might even be destroyed by now because I just give it to an army commander and tell him to do stuff, and he decides where the divisions go. Yeah, I think that's where I'm kind of leaning towards, Ryan. Like, at some point I do want to try and do Stellaris on the stream, and allow people to name, you know, leaders and ships at the very least, and potentially name planets if they earn the right to name the planet, or, you know, if I decide that their character or that person has done a lot for that particular campaign, I might name a ship class after them or whatever. I'd like to do that, and I do think I want to do that, but I'm not doing it at this point because I don't want to cram too much onto the stream at the same time. At the end of the day, I've only got a limited amount of time, and there's only so much time I can ask for you guys to watch in a day before, you know, people start to get bored. So yeah, Stellaris will probably turn up at some point. CK3 will be turning up, I hope, next week after it release. And we'll see where we go with the rest of it. Probably will be doing a Planet Side 2 again at some point. I don't actually know what the first Monday of September is. It would be the 7th, so it would be not Monday coming, the one after that. Will be probably Planet Side 2 again, but I don't know how well it's going to go. It didn't go fantastic last time, but we're still going to do it. Just don't go fanatic xenophobe militarist unless we're going to go full Imperium. Well, that'd be, you know, that'd be another aspect of it, Imatech, as we'll see what civics and stuff we want. Anyway, I'm going to kick you guys off on a raid, because at this point I'm just rambling and talking shit. And we're not really doing anything. We're not streaming or doing anything productive. So I'm going to find somewhere to send you guys. Honestly, take it week by week instead of day by day. Rigorously sticking to a schedule when things aren't great or even good. Most people are going through a rough time now. If you feel like you're not up to streaming and feeling guilty about it, then take that week off. So guys, struggling a bit, won't stick to the schedule this week. However, might stream something if I fancy it. I mean, you're not wrong, Fastkill. And, you know, more or less that's what I have been doing. I did say on Sunday, when I cancelled the Sunday stream, I said, like, at this point I doubt I'll be streaming tomorrow, which I'm scheduled to do. And then I confirmed on Monday, like, I'm not going to be streaming tonight, as I said. But yeah, like, the other side of the coin is, if I want to make this like my job, which I really do, having a schedule and preferably sticking to it is kind of important. Like, if you're just doing Twitch as a hobby, you don't really need a schedule. It helps to grow the channel, but you don't need one. You can just fucking stream whenever you want, and if people like it, they'll turn up. But if you want to do it as a, you know, a career, or you're potentially trying to grow it into a career, people need to be able to know when they can find you and when you're going to be on. So schedules are important for that. And then if you, like, I don't for a second think that anybody thinks necessarily less of me because I've had to cancel streams because I haven't felt good. I'm like, the community I've got are amazing. They are always very understanding. But that's not the point. Even somebody who understands why you keep cancelling streams, if you cancel enough of them, they're going to be like, well, I mean, I'm going to make plans because chances are Tom's not going to stream. and then you actually do stream, but they're like, well, tough shit, I made plans, I can't come to the stream. Like, so you know what I mean, like you ultimately drive your audience away because you're not sticking to the schedule. So it is the swings and roundabouts as much as I understand what you're saying. I don't think I can get to the 7th on the Monday because of college stuff. No worries, Imatech. I mean, there is also what Ryan said, you know, like, I know nobody would pressure me into things, but I do like to regulate. Although, to be perfectly honest, I feel like the schedule has been beneficial to the channel in the sense that when I was streaming all day, every day, or streaming for 6, 8, 12 hours at a time of Three Kingdoms, nobody wanted to watch because, fuck, if you hadn't been in the stream for the last 7 hours, you had no idea what was going on because I was just ploughing on. But people knowing Wednesday is Three Kingdoms and it's a 3-hour slot, so I can be there and I can see what goes on and then I can just go away and disappear at the end. I think that has helped the channel. No worries, Steve, I appreciate you hanging out, man. Like, don't feel like you have to be participating in the chat and stuff. I appreciate you hanging around and listening. Been tempted to stream Ultimate General. You should do it, man. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Ryan. Alright. I've rambled and talked shit for long enough, so let's get a raid on the go. There's very few people online right now that I would normally raid. In fact, there's probably only 2 or 3. And just because it makes me laugh, every time we raid Kyle and he goes, oh fucking hell, not now, or whatever it is that he says, we're going to go raid Kyle again, just because I enjoy doing exactly what Brian's just said, annoying him. Standard post 3k tradition is to annoy Kyle. It kinda is at this point. He's usually the only one streaming at this time, that's why. So we'll go raid Kyle. When we get over there, drop those War Dog 4 howls, make some noise so Kyle knows where the love and bad luck is coming from. I'm sure he will anyway, because he'll groan when he sees us come in. So get ready for that. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. If you don't already follow Kyle, you definitely should when you get over there. Fantastic guy and an awesome streamer. Me and him are going to be doing some War Thunder roleplay flights at some point. We're essentially going to play War Thunder in planes as the RAF. But we're going to be doing these kind of voices. And, oh, bandit on your 6 there, buddy. We're going to be doing that kind of shit, I think, at some point. So that would be cool. Have fun with Kyle, guys. Hopefully I will see you tomorrow. I will not be streaming later tonight, so please don't think I will be. Hopefully I'll see you tomorrow for some Battle Brothers. Have a great time with Kyle. I'll see you soon, but for the time being, it's going to be War Dog out.
Get that to front and